Coach Stewart, you're on a win streak,
Yeah.
4 in a row, and started off region play with a victory. That's all very impressive, and I've talked to your coordinators about that. I want to talk to you about the unofficial visits that your players have been taking on Saturdays to some of the biggest college football games in the land. Tell me about how, I guess from beginning to end, how you go from the idea of making that kind of experience available to your players and then getting it done to where you've got two players on the sideline for Georgia Notre Dame. I'm sure that's not easy to make happen. So how does all that get done?
Yes, well, first of all, it's a testament to the hard work of the players. Of course, they have the GPA, the work ethic, the film, everything that catches the college coach's eyes and the recruiting assistant's eyes. So all that I do then is send that information to the right recruiting personnel or recruiter for this area, and then they extend the invite. So it's a great testament to the hard work and dedication of what they're doing in the classroom as well as on the field.
This is your first year coaching here at Fox Creek. I can't remember exactly when you were named head coach, but it was probably spring of last year.
February.
February. So when did you start the process of identifying the players who would have the athletic ability and the academic record to justify a trip, and then get that word to the recruiting coordinator on the other end? When does all that start?
Well, all of that starts in the spring as well as the summer with going to different camps, different college camps. So we traveled as a team as well as individually to these colleges so that they were able to be evaluated on site by these coaches.
Okay.
So it's important that is done.
So without that, it's hard to then go the next step. So how many camps, give me a feel for the camps that you went to, like which ones, which months of the year you do that?
Got you. Well, it's a lot that happens in between May and June. July is usually a dead period. So in May and June, it's heavy camp time on the weekend. So definitely try to hit the mega camps that are in the Atlanta and Charlotte area, to where there are a plethora of schools that are there, so that they'll be able to be evaluated by almost 100 schools in one setting. And then you go to the other camps to where it's Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Clemson, and they also have schools, other schools around the area and around the state that come from JUCO, Division III, Division II, FCS schools on their campus during that time.
So those are like team camps?
Yes. They can be team camps or the individual camps. So one-day camps that they go to for, and it is for education and exposure. The student athletes get some priceless lessons taught to them in that 4 or 5 hours. They get college coach instruction by the position coaches from these particular schools as well as other schools. They also get a academic overview of the NCAA eligibility requirements. They get to tour the facilities. So it's truly just a great experience all the way around for the student athletes to definitely see where they inspire to go and see how much work they have to do to get there.
Yeah. So if you take you as a coach with the camps that are, maybe independent of colleges, and then the camps that are hosted at colleges, how many days do you think you spent in the off season at one of these camps?
Well, I would say just roughly it's probably 10 days that were probably dedicated. 5 in the early part of the summer, early part of June, then probably another 5 later on in June, and none of them interfered with workouts that we had 3 to 4 times a week. Most of them were on the weekends, on Saturdays, on Sundays. So that was good that it didn't interfere with OLD line challenges or 7-on-7s. because of course that takes precedent over the camps. But it's just great for education and exposure, and I think it's just vitally important for our program to have it, because it shows a measuring rod of not only where I am right now as a player, but where I want to be or how far I have to go to get to where I want to get to. So I think that gets kind of overlooked sometimes about that whole process.
Now, the players, like I talked to 5 players today, would all 5 of those players maybe go to 10 days worth of camps, or would they a few here and a few there?
A few here and a few there, because we want to make sure that they are going to camps to where they will be able to be evaluated properly, and truly to go to camps to where they have a true chance, a true opportunity to attain a scholarship. We don't want kids going to camps that doesn't fit their skill set, doesn't fit where they could possibly be able to play, whether that is academically or athletically. Because sometimes it's just about, certain times, certain classifications. We know how quickly FBS is totally different from FCS, and FCS is different from Division II. So we want to make sure that they're evaluated in the right setting.
To your point, and then about the academic fit along with the athletic fit, how do you go about matching up? All right, I've got a player, he's got a record academically, then I have a college which has certain requirements. Is that working with the recruiting coordinator at the college, or do you have to then go get into the admissions requirements and things like that?
Well, it's quite easy with the NCAA now. With the eligibility center, they have a sliding scale all online, so it matches your GPA to what your test score has to be. So there's a template that shows you where you stand academically to where you have to get in terms of your test scores. So the guys know where they stand, having a meeting with parents and players, going over that whole eligibility process, because it's a lot. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of different nuances that go into it. And it's just great to have your players and your parents educated and informed about the whole process, and about knowing. So I'm excited about being able to do that and making sure that we help our student athletes get there. This is going to be an expectation at Fox Creek football for you to play beyond after you're done playing here.
That kind of process is basically how we came to know each other about a year and a half ago, when you were telling me, or you sent me messages about your players on the defensive side of the ball at North Augusta, where you were last, and that your interest in helping players get to the next level is something that that's a special interest of yours, isn't it?
It is. It's a very special interest of mine. I believe just as being an educator for the past decade, how our focus is making sure that students graduate with a diploma, with a skill set, being college and career ready. I believe that is the same thing that every high school football coach should make sure they attain in your players in the 4 years that they play for you, and help them be educated, informed about the process, and help them get there. Because a lot of times it happens too late. They wait too late. Their junior, senior year, scrambling to get a lot of things done. And I think as much as and as soon as you can educate and inform your parents and players about the process, the standards, and the expectation, then it gives everyone a clear vision of how to get there.
So real early on, you're sitting down with, or either you or somebody on your staff sitting down with probably each player. Do you want to play college football? If yes, here's how we get started in this process.
Oh yes, in fact, October 24th, we're blessed to have Miss Wetzel from Augusta University, the assistant AD over compliance, is going to come and do a workshop here at the school, and that's for everybody in the athletic department here at the school. So not just football, but every other sport, and just going to go through everything A to Z from 9th through 12th grade of what needs to be done from an NCAA eligibility standpoint, and that is just priceless information.
Yeah.
To be able to know, from filling out a FAFSA to GPA requirements, the difference between full scholarships, athletic scholarships, and academic and athletic. It's just it could be overwhelming for a parent or a player who has no idea about the process. So as soon as they can know, as soon as they can be informed, as soon as the 9th grade, and how important every grade is, from core to electives and what's required. It's a process that we are going to make sure that our players and parents are educated and informed on.
It's like one of those things where there's no shortcuts.
Yes, right.
You know, when you talk about it, it's you know, there's many different facets to it, and the only way to really go about it is to spend a lot of time on it, to really weigh all the options, and you know, it doesn't happen overnight.
You're right.